Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our April Mountain Mobility Working Group meeting. Today, we have a packed agenda. And before we start, actually, let me add it in the chat. We have a quick welcome warm-up, and then we have Grace talking about the volunteer driver program update. Then we can briefly talk about mountain rides, and then the Netherlands Business Eco Pass. And then we can finish up with some transportation needs or any other miscellaneous topics that we want to cover. The question that I have for all of you today as a warm-up, that we could go around the room and then just share what's a transportation project or program that you've worked on, or maybe that you've seen from afar, that made you feel very proud, and why. So it could be something that you did in the past, that you're working on now, that you witnessed at some point throughout your career, just something that gave you a sense of purpose, or just being proud. I can start us off just to give you all some time to think about the question. One project that I'm working on that makes me feel very excited is we're expanding our EcoPass program to mobile home communities. So that's something that I think will be very helpful for them, just to get them access to free RTD service and do something that hasn't been done in the past. So just, yeah, giving people more options for public transportation. Does anybody want to go next? If not, you get selected.
I
I
can
can
go
go next.
next.
Oh,
Either
you
way.
go ahead.
So my list is long because every single project that I've worked on. But let's take the most recent one. And I think this is a great accomplishment that shows that we've all worked together extremely well, great partnership. And that's the extensions of the 225 and the Dash to Willoughby.
Yeah, to connect Willoughby Corner, right, Natalie?
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Grace, I think you were also volunteering.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. And that's awesome, Natalie. I was just going to say, what we're working on right now, this volunteer driver program, I think it's been a long time coming. And I think if we're successful, it's going to be really awesome. And it's feeling like we're off to a great start. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Grace.
Mhm.
Annette, do you want to go next?
Sure. Something I was involved with a long time ago when my kids went to Pioneer Bilingual School was Safe Routes to School. And at that time, the communities down in Erie didn't have a sidewalk or a paved road, even for some of their connections. And my son would ride his bike with his uncle on 111, which was dirt at the time. And so they'd have to go down Isabel to 111. And it was just really cool to see families getting together and walking with their kids, dads taking the morning off and stuff like that, bringing people together around transportation issues to make it safer for the communities. So that was mine.
Good one. Thanks,
Mhm.
Annette. I'm going to choose Bob next.
I'll choose to talk about mountain rides. Last January of 2024, we started it and had no idea what it was going to be like. One of the ops, we call them operations specialists here. He and I went up and met with Katrina and discovered what she wanted. And so we developed a route. And I think the first day we did it, we had one person. No, we actually had 13 people. The reason I said one person, I remember getting a picture from the driver saying, "The first rider, here he is." So we were off and running. And throughout the year, we ended up having over 1,300. So I was pretty proud of that, and starting from scratch and turning it into something good with amazing drivers. They're the ones who did the work.
Yeah. Yeah, and how quickly it's grown and just like the opportunities for the future. So
Right.
thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Lisa, do you want to go next?
Wow, there, over the years, I think probably the thing that's been the longest and I'm hopeful that it will turn out well is the Ride Alliance program that we've done. It's been like 11, 12 years in the making of on again, off again, you know, due to funding and things like that. But I finally feel like with Dr. Cog that I think I see a light at the end of the tunnel of making it work. And what's exciting about it and what I'm proud of, that if we get it working, which I believe we will, it's going to be a game changer for people needing transportation and who can get them where they need to go, instead of having elderly people or people with disabilities have to go through all the hoops and call this place, call that place, that sometimes it's very overwhelming for them. I'm invested, and probably several more years of it down the road if they get their second round of funding. But I think that's probably the thing I'm most proud of.
And Lisa, I'm not sure if you explained what it is. Would you like to talk about what it is?
Yeah, the Ride Alliance is basically, I put it in simple terms, it's a hub. And different companies like RTD, and BIA and Broomfield Easy Ride and some of the AAA Douglas County are all invested in using their technology, some with technology, some without technology, to put it together to go ahead, and if BIA can't do the trip, we can put it in the hub and maybe one of the other partners can do the trip, vice versa. So I think it's a way to get people where they need to go that might not be able to get an option, or don't have the ability to and the wherewithal to have to hop through all the hoops. And so excited to get it off the ground.
Thanks for explaining. It's very exciting. We'll help people with not really going from one provider to the other, but having the providers talk to each other and feel more organized and help people.
Yes. Yes, break down those silos that drive me crazy. So the more we all have vehicles, we all have drivers, we all have those empty spots. And it's really a way to get people where they need to go and try to be more efficient as a company. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. Paul?
Well, I want to take Bob's cue and just say, mountain rides. That's a way to go, but I couldn't do that, so that was great, Bob. Um, I would have to say the paratransit service that I ran for 11 years in California. And the easy answer is that we just improved people's lives and made a very efficient, reliable customer service forward system. But all transit operating correctly is doing that. The difference is we had a call center. It was before any kind of online reservations or anything like that, which meant crazy amounts of communications with passengers. So the why to part of that question was the constant feedback from passengers, good or bad, but you knew that you were having a direct impact on improving people's lives with the reliability and the customer service aspect improvements, and it was greatly appreciated. So that was a rewarding time for me.
Yeah. A good one, Paul. Thank you. Angel, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I love that, Paul, how you said whether they were complaining or not, you knew that you were having an impact on their life, right? I mean, it's good to remember that even if they are complaining, they're doing that because they need your service. So that's great. So I would say that for me, it was probably the Community Transportation Association of America grant that we received to do an inclusive planning process for the Transportation Master Plan. And then the two subsequent projects that kind of stemmed out of that. One was the Technology Education Ambassador Program, and the other was the Volunteer Driver Program in the mountains. So the Ambassador Program's been going strong. Jessica's the program manager for that, and just great to see how it's grown and changed. And then I love, like, can't wait to see what Grace comes up with, for the Volunteer Driver Program.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Angel. And this is the perfect segue to talk about the volunteer driver program. So, Grace, thank you for being okay and sharing some updates about where the volunteer program is right now. So, I'll give you the floor. We have like budgeted 15 minutes, but we can go over if you need extra time. So, for everybody, if you want to, go ahead and present. Great.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I can't see you all because this computer is giving me some trouble, but so please stop me if you have any questions. But yeah, so we are going to give a more in-depth presentation on really the fine details of the program in May. But I wanted to
Grace,
give, yes.
I'm sorry. Can you please push that little, oh, no, go ahead. There's a little button at the bottom. I was wondering if you could push.
Did I push it?
No, you exited out.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
We were seeing your PowerPoint, but not the
Yeah.
presenter like view.
And if
Oh,
you can't
weird.
do that, then I can just move it to a bigger screen for myself. So
Let me try again.
you all will just get a view up my nose because my camera is faced right that way.
While she's
Okay, so
doing
you're
that,
in this. Oh,
while
go
she's doing that, could we hear from Natalie about her?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, did we
Go.
not? For Natalie?
yeah.
Oh, I
Did
thought
we
she said the
skip?
dash. Oh, she said the 225 and dash, right?
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I missed it.
Which, I
Yeah,
should.
no, thank you for making sure that I wasn't missed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if you all don't know, like while the race is going, like, I mean, I'm proud of that one too, because it took us forever to get, transit at Kestrel. And it was such a contentious issue. So starting early and being able to get it in close to the start has been a great accomplishment, Natalie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to the importance of planning housing and transportation hand on hand so that people who are going to be living in a new place also have access to public transit. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Perfect,
Okay.
Grace. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for telling me that you weren't seeing the right thing. And again, I cannot see you all, so just stop me if you have any questions again. Yes, as I was saying, we are going to be giving a really in-depth presentation on the more fine details of the program in May. But I did want to give you just an update on what we've been working on so far. As you all know, the vision of this program is to provide door-through-door assisted transportation service for seniors and marginalized individuals who live in the mountains of Boulder County. It was currently funded by a Dr. Cog grant, like Angel mentioned, and I really want to thank Jessica and Angel again. They worked really hard on that proposal, and I'm excited to be helping out. Originally, the Nederland Food Pantry was going to manage the program, but they've got a lot going on. So the town agreed to take over and provide centralized administration on the program. So far, we've really been focusing on just talking to people, learning more about how existing programs are structured. I've been speaking a lot with the people at Berthoud Raft that has been in service for about 10 years now. They have an awesome program, about 40 volunteers, and they've been extremely helpful, kind of helping us get our handbook written. As I mentioned, I am hoping to go to the CASTA conference for the handbook, but we've really got a solid draft that we're already reviewing with help from Raft and all these different people that we've been working with. It's been awesome just getting to know people. I have a meeting with Annette on Friday. So yeah, looking forward to continuing to talk to everybody. So as I said, we've really been focusing on the program framework. I've been working with Rocio at FHU on some of these items. She's been extremely helpful. and we are really focusing on the mission statement, the different policies and procedures, and just talking with potential volunteers and riders. And yeah, so as I said, one of our first things we've been working on is this mission statement. This is kind of a working mission statement that we have going right now. And I'll just read it out: to provide safe and friendly transportation, connecting rural communities and helping riders travel with comfort, dignity, and ease. So we're really liking that one so far, but still kind of playing around with it a little bit. As I mentioned, the goal is for this to be fully comprehensive and peak to peak. We have gotten some advice to maybe start a little smaller, but we'll talk more about that in May. That would just be for phase 1, but we'll have more information there next month. And yeah, again, this was just going to be a quick update, but I'd love to hear from all of you. If you have any questions or ideas, we are going to be at the farmers market on these dates. So I'd love to have anybody come and say hi. And yeah, this is kind of what I do right now. I just joined the Nederland Fire Department. So this is where you'll find me most of the time right now, but I'd love to hear from you all. And yeah, just really excited to get things going, and hope if anybody has any questions, I'd love to hear them now.
Yeah, looks like Annette has her hand raised.
Oh yeah, please.
Oh, hey, Grace.
I'm gonna stop.
We'll meet a little bit later, I suppose. I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify. I think it was the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Service Alliance that was more integrated with this drivers program. The Nederland Food Pantry has been an anchor agency in that alliance and is the de facto human services hub, but I don't believe that the food pantry was ever going to take this program on. We just don't have the staff for that. Just a clarification. I haven't had a chance to talk to John, and Tom Mahawald's been in and out of the country, who's the chair of both the Food Pantry and the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Service Alliance. So it's a little confusing sometimes.
Yeah. So Annette, we did write the grant for the food pantry to be the host, and it was when Katrina was still at the food pantry.
So that was when she was assistant or executive director all those years back.
It was 2.5 years ago. I forget exactly when you submitted
Yeah.
the grant, but yeah, it was a while ago.
Okay.
And so that was part of us funding Betty, right? To help provide Betty to come on to the Nederland Food Pantry. And then
Oh, okay.
there were the issues with like Katrina moving on and just like,
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it was initially,
all those years ago. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for the
Clarifying
confusion.
that.
Just wanted to point out that, it is the town of Nederland who is the base, the home base for the program.
Mhm.
We're hoping, the vision is that we're serving peak to peak, but currently we have recruited 2 volunteers already in the Nederland Fire District. And one thing I could go ahead and ask you all is thoughts on starting small, potentially just the Nederland Fire District, until we have at least 2 volunteers. For example, I spoke with someone in Gold Hill who's very interested, and they might have a couple volunteers lined up. So one of the things that Bertha has said makes their program very successful is that the volunteers are neighbors with the riders. That they don't have to drive that far to pick them up, do the original pickup. So I'll be honest with you all that that's a thought, and that's an advice I've been receiving, is to start a little bit smaller. However, the vision is all of peak to peak, and we don't want to leave Ward out. We don't want to leave people out who are not able to get where they need to go. But again, we only have 2 volunteers right now, so we would need to really be able to expand and hopefully serve all these different districts. But yes, just pointed out that it is the town of Nederland, so that's kind of where we are centralized at this time.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you, Grace, for like, I know that you weren't involved in that decision, but like the town of Nederland taking on administrating something that goes outside of their boundaries and really is a community resource for all of the mountain communities was a huge achievement. I know that Melissa and I were talking to a bunch of different human services providers to see who could be the host. And there were a lot of administrative barriers. We talked to like the Hour Center and EFA, but we were just really happy when Miranda, when she was still the town administrator, volunteered and agreed. Additionally, I know that I we already kind of talked about this, but I like the idea of having a certain threshold of volunteers before you expand to a community.
Yeah.
Because I think that that also puts the, like puts kind of some of the ownership on the communities as well, right? Like, we want to be
Totally.
able to expand to your community, but if you have like 2 people that we can get to like be volunteer drivers, then that'll help us be able to expand to your community.
Exactly. That was my thought process too. And letting those people be kind of a champion for the program
Mhm.
in their communities. Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Please.
Okay, so you're saying the peak to peak, and just want to clarify, is this Blackhawk to Allens Park, or is this Boulder County, Nederland to Allens Park, peak to peak?
That's a great question. I know there are opinions that potentially, since Blackhawk is Gilpin County, that maybe that wouldn't be included. I will say, I think, I think part of the vision is that we really want people to get to those essential appointments. We want people to make it to their doctor, but I'd love it if we could have a shuttle to the casinos. I'm sure we could create some great funding from the casinos. I don't know that that's part of the vision at this time, but to answer your question, yeah, it's a tough one because that's Gilpin County and that opens such a bigger piece of it. And that's another reason why a part of me is saying, maybe even just the first month, phase 1, this is for the Nederland Fire District because that's where we have volunteers. If we get
Okay.
volunteers in Black Hawk, please, like I'd love to. I want to be able to support anyone. I want to partner with everyone. It's a great question, and it's something that I'm sure we will be more clear on in May.
Okay, I just
Right
didn't
now,
know if you had made that definition for yourself for the start of the program.
Mm.
Totally.
Most people
Yeah.
confine it to Nederland up to Ward to start things.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rollinsville is, even closer than Ward. So, and
Yeah.
you just
Totally.
said that within the Nederland Fire District, is that kind of a boundary you're considering right now?
This is very much me
Okay.
considering
Okay.
it, and just because we have 2 volunteers who happen
Yeah.
to live in the Nederland Fire District. The vision is that this is the rural mountainous region of Boulder County, which is a very large area.
Mhm.
And, from what we've heard from Berthoud, there's a huge demand for this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, people
there
want
is.
this, as you know. And like I said, I was speaking with people in Gold Hill who are ready to go. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, so to answer your question, I didn't want to be totally clear on that today because we haven't defined that quite yet. And honestly, I'd like to hear your opinions on that.
Right.
Is that going to hurt people's feelings? Because as you said, Ward is going to expect to be a part of this.
As long as you're
From the
clear
start.
with what you
Mhm.
do from the beginning, like this is where we're at now,
Mhm.
then they don't get their hopes up, right? And then
Yeah.
the other thing is you say this is door to door. So if someone could asked for a ride from Ward to the VA in
Mhm.
Denver, because John Kane had said originally this would be connecting you to other modes of transportation. So getting you to the bus, getting you home from the
Right.
bus kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now you're saying could be more. It could be.
And eventually it will be. I mean, that's the vision. But I think phase 1, we need to start smaller to iron out some of the bumps
Okay.
that we might face. So yeah, I think as I was speaking with the person in Gold Hill, they said we would love just what you said, like just get us to that next place that we need to get.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Ward wants from it. Or sorry,
Okay.
from what Gold Hill is envisioning is we just need, that last little piece that we don't have right now. So, this is month 1 in the planning phases of really getting this narrowed down. But I think that's one of the biggest questions we have to answer is what is that delineated line
Okay,
that we're
cool.
gonna.
And I'll be patient and wait for May. For information.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to volunteer, we can start doing more.
Well, I mean, we currently kind of do some of this as the pantry. We have board members that drive clients to the food pantry and home
That's great.
and deliver meals, that kind of thing. But we're always talking about how we can merge our volunteer rosters with the local organizations up here, so it could be a good conversation to have at the Peak to
I
Peak
think,
Alliance.
yes, 100%. I think merging the services is really where the special sauce is going
Well,
to
the
be.
volunteer base of those services, yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And I know that I spoke with your colleague Betty about the transit to table. I know you guys are partnered with, I don't know how familiar everyone is with the transit to table, but kind of a new program that utilizes Uber, which Uber does not come to Nederland. So I thought I'd love to partner with, anyway, there's tons of options. There's lots of people to work with,
Yeah.
lots of questions to answer.
Betty was assured by RTD that there was an Uber service that would come up here, and that's why they were awarded this partnership. We haven't had anyone try it. I would like to see.
Yeah, we should.
You know,
Oh.
or
we should
maybe
try
we
it.
need to have someone local become an Uber driver, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Things to think about.
Mhm.
But thank you so much, Annette, for those questions. I love that you brought those things up. Obviously, there's still a lot to think about. I think in the next meeting in May, we're gonna have a lot more of these things nailed down, with some talks with the town, with more talks with Mobility for All, of course. But we're really looking forward. We're excited. There's a lot of people who are excited to be a part of it. Lots of different pieces that we're looking into, technology pieces, more kind of simple scheduling with a dispatch system. But yes, lots on the table right now that we're excited to continue thinking about and get hammered down in the next month. And I'd love if anyone here has any thoughts, please email me. I'll put my email in the chat, and I'm just always open door. I'd love to speak with all of you anytime.
Thanks, Grace, for the update. I had just had one comment on the mission statement. The rural portion, I don't know if you all have considered mountain communities, because it seems like at least I hear a lot more like that pride in mountain communities, so I don't know if that's something that you want to consider.
100%. Thank you for that feedback. We will, that makes a lot of sense.
I know, Annette, you're a mountain community member, so I'm like, I'm just like a lowlander, so I don't know what your opinion is on this.
I'm sure she'll get a lot of feedback in May when she goes more public with this.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for giving me the time today. And again, really looking forward to working with you all. And my email is your place to reach me anytime.
Any other questions for Grace? Thank you for sharing your email, and glad that you have a Netherland Colorado.org email.
For sure.
Yeah. And do you want to remind everybody how frequently you're meeting with or consultant to talk a little bit more about?
We're meeting with her. I'm meeting with her once a week, and then we have a meeting with Angel and Jessica. I think you've attended a couple of those bi-weekly. So Rocio and I meet about 6 times per month. We're working really closely together and getting a lot of good work done. So she's been really great. They're awesome over there.
Yeah, well, we're excited for the updates you're going to share with us in May. And I'm just very happy that this is happening. And you said that you only had 2 volunteers, and I will flip that and say, like, you already have 2 volunteers in such a small time frame. And I'm sure that, I don't know, like, it's just going to keep growing. And yeah, as the news spread and knowing that the demand is so high, it's exciting. Yeah,
totally. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're going to move on then to our next agenda item. We have mountain rides update. So Bob or Lisa, I don't know if you want to share anything. You have comment from Annette in the chat. She mentioned before that she wanted to thank Bia for adding Mondays again to mountain rides. So yeah, any updates?
That first Mondays is May 5th. We'll go to 3 days starting that week. There is the question that I have. What website is the best one to get to the schedule? We've had some people reach out, and
so
Park
The-
to Park, Housing and Human Services.
So the website that Katrina started for this, that information was migrated over to the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Services Alliance webpage,
Okay,
which Tom has administrative access to, but doesn't know how to update it. I
okay,
don't have access to it. And we're working with the library up here to get one of their employees who will help us to update that website. So
okay,
currently, the only way to update that is to send out like a Facebook post,
okay,
or I've been passing the information to Betty and we've been putting it out on the food pantries Facebook page, and she hasn't done the schedule yet again with the Mondays on it because the driver wanted to finalize what the formatting and stuff looked like. But when that comes out, I have the sheet that she had provided me last week, we just stuck up in the pantry.
right,
So for right now, it would be Tom is supposed to be attending these meetings and being the contact for the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Service Alliance. He's been out of town a lot lately, and I think his travel will be ending soon. Multiple travels. So he would be the prime contact, but you can always send it to both of us, Tom and I. And if he's out of town and can't do something, then I will make sure it gets posted. I've been passing the information out. Does that answer your question, Bob?
So would you like for me to send you an updated schedule?
That would be awesome.
Okay,
And if you want to send it to me too, Bob, we just
Okay.
have like I just have a table inside of a PowerPoint that I update to like be able to print the flyers, and I'll send the PDF of the flyers to everybody.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll
As
do
soon as-
that.
Yeah, Jessica, that's the one I know of. And then Angel, the one that the link that you sent, where does that? Yeah, that goes to
It's
Mountain.
the same one.
Same
It's-
one.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It just, my computer now is,
It's
instead
fine.
of pasting URLs, it's pasting like the title of the pages for me.
I just had to put my cursor over it.
Oh, I don't know how I got there, but
The one other thing I wanted to mention is we adjusted the schedule on Wednesday for a particular person who needed more time to eat.
Yeah,
The few times that the Wednesdays that we've done it since our meeting, he's always been able to get done by 12:15. And so we were waiting, we made the adjustment to wait till 12:30. Well, that causes people to just have to sit there on the bus. They're not going into the community center and
yeah.
anything. So we're just waiting. So we just wondered if maybe we should go back to the original schedule of leaving at 12:15.
well, the lunch is served officially at noon. So
Right,
12:15 gives him 15 minutes
right,
to eat and get down to the bus
Right.
and not socialize much. Unless because I'm not sure what time he's arriving there. I don't know if there's any way he could get the later loop, because you have like another loop through town now, don't you? Than you used to?
Yes, we come back through, but
Mhm.
I think he's going to Ward, and so
Right.
that would be on the very last thing. So
He'd have to wait
he'd have to
longer.
wait till like 3 o'clock to get it.
Right. Yeah, it's
Bob,
hard. I mean, he's the one consistent client that goes to those lunches.
Mhm.
And so,
I'm pretty sure that we take him like 11 or 11:30 or something. He's
okay,
there
I
for a
think
long
maybe
time,
they
but
might be
the
serving
lunch
him
doesn't
early.
start till 12.
Right, but they may be serving him early and making
Okay.
sure he has his portion. It
Okay.
just doesn't allow him time to do the programs and stuff like that.
yeah.
Okay.
Is all. But that might be a place where this volunteer driver program comes in at some point in time that
Mhm.
allows him to connect back up somewhere with the wherever the
Sure.
mountain rides is coming in the
Right.
future.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bob, I think the schedule change discussion, I think we should talk to Reba next time she's
Sure.
able to
Yeah.
attend, because she's the one who's going to know her clients better than us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
this is just
I'll
what
do
Reba.
whatever you guys want to do.
Okay.
So I'm hearing that we won't change the Wednesday schedule for now. Or are we
I
doing
think
that?
that, yeah, I think that's what I heard. If you all are, Bob and Lisa, are all right with that, I would say leave it as it is with the change until we talk to Reba. And we
Yeah.
could maybe just do that via email, right? We don't necessarily have to wait till next month.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we just know that he's ready to go at 12:15.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's
And
worried about not catching the ride, yeah.
Right.
But he knows that we'll stay till 12:30, but since we've changed it, he's ready to go at 12:15.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know,
I
that's
think Reba was right when she was like, I don't know if he really wants to stay in a socialized room.
Right.
He just wants his food, that's right.
He just wants the food and then get home.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Bob and Lisa, do you have Reba's email? She sent us she just said that she was sorry she couldn't attend today. But if you want to reach out to her directly
Okay.
and
I
ask
I
this
don't have it.
question, I can give it
Please
to
do
you.
that.
Let me see.
And I'd be curious to know more about the particular route, so we can be thinking about serving that with the volunteer driver too.
Okay.
Sure, Grace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We could get you connected with Reba. She's in her office on Wednesdays around that mealtime, midday,
Great.
in the community center upstairs.
Yeah, maybe I'll go check I'd like to just get a little more understanding of how it all works, so maybe I'll try to
Yeah.
catch her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
she
that way-
also has volunteers, sorry, to like deliver food to seniors in the mountains. So there could be some synergies there as well, like with Annette's volunteers.
That'd be
Mhm.
great.
And yeah, she hasn't been able to come the past few months, so I don't know if you met her yet, Grace, but I think it will be a good connection.
Sounds like a great connection.
Anything else on mountain ride?
I don't, Lisa.
No, I'm good.
Right?
So if you
Thank you all.
can share with us, oh, sorry, Angel, the schedule. I know that we had a lady that called us and we were trying to figure out what was the most updated schedule. So that would be great.
Yeah.
And I think we did refer her to the mountain rides website. But I also saw that,
That one won't be updated.
yeah. So
Right.
do you think the Facebook page will be another?
So that would be up to Tom and I to do. So it still would come to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Put
So I
that
think
out.
I think we should probably work on transitioning the web page via, I know, like Lisa, I know that you all have the Gold Hill climb schedule on your web page. So maybe that's the best location since you all are the ones receiving the 5310 or 5311 grant. How do you feel about that, Lisa?
We have this link on our website, but it's just the wrong schedule.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's one of the original schedules. And
Well,
and it doesn't include Mondays either. So
yeah.
Right.
I think that would be good to add.
So Annette, do you think that you and Tom would be able to take this page down?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
We can,
I-
well, we can take it's my understanding that the original page is gone that Katrina made.
Mhm.
And you're just talking about the tab on the page for the peak to peak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we can put a link there so people can go to whichever page is going to be maintained and updated.
Okay.
Maybe you could put the link there that goes to the Facebook posting.
Okay. I'm writing that down.
I do think that this is something that with the volunteer driver program, like I think there needs to be like a single point of contact for mountain
agree.
mobility. So we
Yeah.
can talk about that longer term after the volunteer driver programs. But in the meantime, I mean, I think Bob, like I like your idea of being able to direct it back to either the Facebook group, and then also we can check with whoever's doing your website at VIA to see if you all could put it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, Tom has taken this role on, so I'm gonna let him know what our conversation was today, and then moving forward, he'll be the one. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're running a little bit behind. The Netherlands Business EcoPass update. Usually Nick is the one sharing those updates. I'm not sure, Paul, if you were up to date or anything.
I do not have the updates that Nick would be providing.
Okay.
Okay.
Angel, do you have anything on the Netherlands Business EcoPass?
No, just that they're switching over to a new person, and that I think Melissa is working with the new person, like Melissa from our team is working with a new Netherlands employee on the resident portion. And we're just trying to get more structure in place and maybe use a shared Teams file. But we can ask Melissa maybe in April, in June to give an update on that, Jessica, since next month will be dedicated to the volunteer
Oh, okay. Sure. Pass. You said that they're working on using a shared
team. So we created a team in our team's account that can be shared with external partners. And so we're working with the town of Ned to use one common database or one common administrative folder, so that we can have, and I think that Melissa's working on some consistency in data collection, because there's currently some people who were added to the I don't think it's the business EcoPass program, but maybe the resident EcoPass program, that we just have an email address for them. The town just has an email address, and so they don't have their address or their name. And so I think that Melissa's been working with the new person on a standard operating procedures and just data standardization.
Okay. Yeah, so we can ask her, she can give us an update.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, well, I think that kind of works out that we don't have many updates for that topic.
Yeah.
Are there any other general topics that you wanted to talk about? Any questions? Oh, yes, Natalie.
The exciting news is that the NB service levels get increased with May. But I have to admit that I was not able to do hourly all day long on weekday. There's a break between 10 and 2 and a break between 8 and 10, because the way the trips were hooked together to have those in there, it would require another operator. So I'm looking to slide those in with September. But for May, it's basically double the frequency that it currently is, and Saturday, Sunday, it's hourly. So I'll definitely double the frequency. And then we'll fix that minor little glitch in September.
That's great. I had heard colloquially that some of the bus drivers were confused about Eldora closing and weren't all going all the way to the high school sometimes, but that may have been fixed quickly.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to the park and ride, because our operators have restroom access there. At the high school in the summer, we do not have restroom access, and our union agreement requires that we have restroom access at a terminal. So in the summer, we have to cut back to Netherlands park and ride. While the
Even though kids use that, they used to use the
as long,
bus, take it
right,
from
well,
high
as long as
school.
school's in session, which this year it works out great, because when BVSD ends, it's just at the end of our current service
Cool.
period.
Okay.
And then when we change on May 25th, school is out. So it's not going to be a problem. If
Great.
it had overlapped, then yes, we would have had them until school gets out, continue their trips to the high school.
Awesome.
But it shouldn't be a problem this time.
Okay.
And then we don't start the service back up until August 31st. So we will have to look into it when school starts. I believe it starts the second week in August. I have to double check what the date is, but I'll make sure I'll get a special service order in, or we'll update it to where we have the drivers then go up to Netherlands High School for those 2 times when they start and end school times. Those 2 trips.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
great news, Natalie. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm glad it was finally to push it through. Jesse had me hit me and stopped for a while. And I finally was able to say, no, we have to do this. We have to put it through. It's in the system optimization plan. And we get enough requests. So I think once we move it forward and we have the additional hours, we'll also see that people are going to be able to use it much more frequently.
Yeah, wonderful.
And just for the notes, Natalie, I missed it. Did you say double the frequency on weekdays?
Yes, it's basically double. It's hourly, except for those 2 periods. Like I said, I think it's between 10 and 2. There's like a break where it's like a 2-hour or it's an hour and a half. It's a funky break.
So it goes like
And then
10 to 12 and 12 to 2 in the middle
right,
of the
yeah.
day.
And then there's another one in the evening, I want to say between 8 and 10, where there isn't one.
Yeah.
But again, the way I had to overall hook the trips together for the route, in order to cover those periods, I would have needed another driver, and I did not get the okay for another resource. So
Right.
this is what we do for May, and then for September, when we bring other services back in, and up service levels, then I can sneak it in.
Right.
Sneak it in.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is recorded, so don't.
No,
Don't
but
hear this part.
it allows me, because we're also adding service. We're putting LX service in, where moving the AB2 to Boulder Junction in September, and we're adding the FF4 in September. With those resources and the buses out there, that allows me a vehicle and an operator that's already on the street to cover
Okay.
this.
Out of curiosity, anybody here uses the MB service?
Annette, maybe? Or
NB, is that's the one that goes up
Yeah.
and down the canyon?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nederland,
Nederland,
Boulder.
Boulder.
Right. I use it, but there have been days, I must say, when it's rainy or something and I'm out by the dam and they just blow by you. I mean, like you're walking from your car to the little thing that has the note on it, but you're not actively there making the little flasher go up and down. So I
Which
don't know.
stop is that? If you can
one
send
of-
me the stop location, the number on the flag, the stop location,
Sure.
then I will send it to Boulder Division and have them call it out, make sure that the operators look.
Okay, and they've occasionally done it down at the Summer Road too, because people park there and I guess they assume that they're not riders because they're just stopped to look at the creek or the lake or the reservoir. But yeah, I will send that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will make sure that Boulder Division then passes it on. The NB drivers, they're all ones that are fairly seasoned and seniored. And so it's, shouldn't take much to say, hey, you have to keep your eyes out, and
Yeah.
it's a stop.
Right.
Natalie, what is your email address?
It's just first.lastname@rtd-denver.com.
I'll put it in the chat for you, Annette.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I was wondering, because we're still looking for nominations to nominate RTD bus drivers for our Mobility Heroes campaign. So I'm gonna add the link to our survey.
Do you
Yeah,
want
so
me to post that on one of our Facebook? Not from
Yeah.
the food pantry. I can do that personally to like Ned heads.
Yeah, I
I
can
think
send you a
so, yeah.
blurb. Here's the Survey Monkey. We have nominations from other drivers, but not from RTD, and I would really like to include RTD. So yeah, if Annette, if you have a favorite MB driver or any other RTD driver that works in
I'll
Boulder
ask
County.
some of
Mhm.
the high school kids because they ride
Oh,
more
yeah.
regularly.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I can send you like a blurb just to be like, hey, if you
Okay.
know somebody. I think I work with somebody with our at RTD, Natalie, and they for like an internal request, if
Uh-huh.
any of the drivers know another driver that works in Boulder County. So yeah, that will be great.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for including them. I know that it means a lot to them when they do get that mention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And last year we had a great driver,
yeah.
Sergio. I'm gonna add here the link to the little article that things Lori wrote
Yeah.
for him. And so, yeah, we want to keep doing that and partner with
Yeah.
all of us, with all of you. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's everything we have in the agenda. Thank you all so much for the extra 5 minutes. And our next meeting will be on May 28th. And yeah, I'll send an email before the date. Yesterday we were in a conference and I didn't get a chance to send it until today. So thanks for that flexibility.
And it'll be the Grace show in May. So
Yeah.
we'll hear all about.
Looking forward to it. Bring all your feedback.
Great.
Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you
Thanks,
all. Enjoy the
everyone.
rest of your night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.